Great. Southwest Florida, you're looking live at a spectacle of huge proportion. What is it? It's probably the biggest event here in 2020, and probably for many years to come. Is the Delta Sigma Theta's Founders Day luncheon that has taken place here, and it was a fabulous affair. That's the alumni chapter here in Fort Myers. I have sitting here the illustrious presidents in both categories. The local president, Kathy Dupree Bruno, the famed attorney, and the national president has graced our community, Beverly Smith. Welcome to Fort Myers.
Thank you. It's good to be here, Lee.
I was just riveted by your presentation.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
I know we got a chance to do some niceties in the parking lot, but it's so good to get you here sitting down.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Before I get into much detail about this, tell me, how have you enjoyed being in our community so far?
Oh, it's been great. I mean, the people, just so warm and so friendly. And my sorors here have just been fantastic to be with. So I've enjoyed it. I got a chance to drive around a little bit yesterday. So Bruno gave me a little tour, Martin Luther King, and got to drive down there. So I'm good. I've enjoyed it.
I know you have already heard all the great things about the Fort Myers Alumni Chapter.
Yes.
And of course, you guys at the national level know what's going on when you're looking at the paperwork. But let me say on camera that the president here, Kathy Dupree Bruno, has just been outstanding in terms of what she's been doing.
Fantastic.
Since she's been selected.
Fantastic.
Elected president.
Fantastic.
Kathy, how about that plug? Kathy, first of all, tell us about the process. Everybody was just so thrilled when we saw your announcement that a national president was coming to our community. Tell us about the process of getting your national president here to Fort Myers. That's outstanding. Now, Beverly, this time of the month, around the Founders Day period of Delta Sigma Theta sorority, give our television audience an understanding of what's going on nationwide and internationally with your sorority.
Oh, wow. In terms of Founders Day, this really is an important time for us, because what we do every day really is based on what they did. So all over the country, internationally, there's Founders Day events going on January, February, March, for the period where we celebrate Founders Day. So I've been in New York, I've been in Clarksdale, Mississippi, I'm here. I've kind of been everywhere, and a lot of our officers and past national presidents are. So it really is a rededication time for us to remind us and get us refocused on what we do.
And the first time I actually saw you live was on television during the disaster when the Delta switched their direction for the conference and started to donate that food for a worthy cause.
Yes.
What was the response around the country when that happened?
To be honest with you, it seemed like a simple decision. I mean, I think we had to shut it down. We didn't have any choice. We had what we had there, needed to do something in the community where we're in. So the response was incredible. We really felt good about people knowing what we stand for. And what we really stand for is making sure that we take care of our communities. Communities understand what we're about and what it's all about. So not only were we able to make an economic impact, but the fact that we were able to use those 20,000 meals to feed people, donate those buses so that they could get people around, was really important to us. So we were very pleased with the reaction.
It was just a gallant and a beautiful touch, and it was great that you guys were able to turn that lemon into lemonade.
Absolutely.
And that goes without saying. Kathy, today's event brought out a who's who in Southwest Florida, and certainly looked like I saw a lot of Deltas here that I hadn't seen before, so I would assume it attracted ladies of sorority from all around the state.
Yes, we definitely had a good representation from our sister chapters, Collier County Alumni Chapter. We appreciate them coming in. Definitely, we had a lot of dignitaries that were here to hear the wonderful message from our national president, and we just had a great time.
The national president received the key to the city from the mayor of Fort Myers.
I did.
What happens from here? Where do you go from here?
Well, we have Delta Days coming up. So we do Delta Days in the nation's capital every year and a half for the past, 42 years. This will be our 42nd year. We take about just a small number, just about 2,000 Deltas, storm Capitol Hill for a couple days in D.C., all in red. But I will say, Congress people are open to us coming because they know they see those women in red. You can hear them all over going, oh, those Deltas are here. So we make sure all of our delegations visit all their congressional leaders. We have 2 days ahead of time where we plan our agenda. We make sure that each state knows what they have to talk about with their representatives, and we have a national agenda that we try to make sure the needs of the communities that are important to us really are understood, and our voices are understood. There are, as we talk, 350,000 initiated Deltas, but we have 72,000 financial members, and when we come and take those 200 in red all in one day in the nation's capital, we're trying to make sure people know who votes, and black women vote. And we support our sister and brother organizations to make sure that they're out there as well. We do Delta Days in the state capitals all over the country as well. So you've got one in Florida tomorrow.
Oh.
So as we try to make sure we do what we can do for social justice and social actions, we're there. And so that's coming up next.
And I know that in general, all around the country, the various chapters, Delta's always leading and in the community.
Right.
But here in our community,
Right.
and in Naples, our Deltas, this is coming from a signal, by the way, our Deltas are just outstanding, and they keep us informed, and they're in every little nook and cranny.
There you go.
Any
That's
little
right.
Organization.
That's right.
Captain, speak to how you guys infiltrate everywhere and got your pulse on everything.
We just get phone calls. Can you do this? Can you participate in that? And we say yes, because that is what our mission is, and we stand on the social justice.
Right.
And one of the things, too, when Beverly gave her speech, you could hear a pin fall. But here's what I took from the speech. Everything was substance. That wasn't a whole lot of fluff. It was in some high point, and everybody was perking up. Talk about her speech and what you got out of her speech.
Visualization of the house going out together, you're marching to one end, keep that house down. And then when it goes up on the other side, you're marching to that end, keep the house down. That's what we do as Deltas. As it goes up, we march to the end, try to keep it down, and then we go to the other side, because that's what we stand for. Social action, and then move forward.
Oh, yeah.
Now, do you guys get nervous when Beverly got off the airplane? Like, hey, we got to make sure this is on point. I'm going to go to Beverly on that. Beverly, do you feel like when you go to places, and like everybody's like...
Unfortunately, I do. Because you want to make people feel comfortable.
Hold on, Beverly.
They do,
You
yeah.
got this baby face, right? So I'm like, how can Beverly make anybody nervous? Because it's so
That's right. Yeah. Thank
go
you.
ahead, now go ahead and do your thing.
But no, and there's because we're all Deltas in this together.
Right.
I'm blessed enough to be able to hold this position, but I would not have this position if it were not for those local Deltas. So they are very important, more important than I am, to be perfectly honest with you. They're in the community doing these things every day. While I can speak for Delta, I'm not Delta. Mm-hmm. It's our local stores that really make Delta Sigma Theta who it is. But let me say this, because you mentioned Phi Beta Sigma. Mm-hmm. We have to do this together. There's no such thing. While Delta takes the lead some days, Phi Beta Sigma may take it another. It doesn't matter. What really is most important that we all, because we have those same core values, are out there together, and that we represent each other as well as we can, and we come together as a coalition to make sure people know who we are and the voting power that we have as a black community.
To talk about that at the national level, how all the Greek letter organizations come together.
Right.
Just kind of give us a feel for what it's like in that meeting room.
Well, and that's interesting because we just did a video, all of us together, on when we get out the vote in the census. But we have a council of presidents that meets every month. And our focus right now really is on social action. This is one of those periods in time when our inalienable rights really depend on what happens this year. If we don't get out and act and make sure that we take care of who we are and get our voices heard out there, we lose everything. This is a critical year for us. The census, the vote, this year, we can't afford not to be together. I think the 9 of us realize that and are doing a lot of things in unison to make sure our members see us as one, because we are.
Based on what Beverly just said, what should we be doing right now at the local level?
So right now, we're participating. I know that our social action committee has reached out to the Divine Nine, to all of the Divine Nine social action chairs, to move forward and coalesce with regards to the 2020 census. We're going to be going out again with your voice, your vote. We're probably going to do other things that exposes the information that needs to be out there with regards to the amendments. So as we get closer to the election, we'll have more information and more education.
Outstanding. Now, Beverly, when you were giving your speech, one of the things that surprised me, but it was so appropriate, is when you started to go, your whole speech was great, the historical perspective, some of the outstanding Deltas who've been leaders throughout history, but when you start to go down through those health statistics,
Oh,
I'm supposed to be a learned person and, doing what I do. I was like, whoa.
yeah.
Talk about why you decide to make that become a part of your grand speech.
Well, and I haven't started a lot of new initiatives in Delta because we already have them. But the one thing that's important to me is Delta Care. We started an initiative around that. If we as the people don't take care of ourselves, where are we going to live? It is important for us to make sure that we health-wise take care of ourselves so that we can do the best we can for each other. Economically, we are suffering. But that's on us. We could be entrepreneurs. We could be business people. We have to make sure that we build wealth in our community. And we have to make sure that we take care of ourselves in terms of education. But those things are important, making sure that we are at the table. And that's the other thing. But you know what, Lee? We can't be at tables of power at every level unless we're healthy, unless we're able to withstand the things that we have to do. So the obesity statistics, the statistics about blood pressure, diabetes, it is important for us, if we're going to grow as communities and grow as strong people, that we take care of ourselves first. It's that oxygen mask we got to put on.
Now, how does, you have I think it's called political action?
Yes, social action. Yes.
Tell us where you try to fit in terms of politics and the whole process of determining who's elected and being involved in the political process.
Yeah, well, we have certain resolutions, and we try to stay away from people. That's most important because it's the politics and it's what you stand for that's more important than what you look like. And we have to take a look at that. So we every year look at resolutions. We have certain things that our grand chapter votes on that are important issues for us. And we look and focus on those issues and look for people, politicians, judges, community leaders, school systems. We look for people who have like values and really are looking out for the whole. And that's most important. So that selection process really is based on what do people stand for, what do they represent, or is it the same areas where we have major concerns? Education, healthcare, which is a huge issue, obviously, economic wealth. Is there equal access and opportunity? And the idea of making sure that there's access and opportunity that's available to all is most critical and even a part of our oath in terms of what we look at. So we make those decisions very carefully. We also, and let me say this, I know I'm going to keep talking. We have started making sure that people run for office because that's what we are not doing. You have to be at that seat. So we actually have training for women on how to run for office, how to raise funds. We ran SOARs. We ran 187 SOARs at every level. 78% of everybody we put to run in Delta Sigma Theta won their elections all over the country at every level. So we're very proud.
So, Kathy, are we going to have somebody running here locally?
We will have to wait and
I have to squeeze everything. We're squeezing information out of Kathy is like Fort Knox for me, but she knows I'm always pro-them. Kathy, I think it was, is it your vote? Tell me, what is it called? Your vote, your voice. You guys were moving all around Southwest Florida last year with your voice, your vote. When is that on right now, going on?
We're going to get ready, get started again. As soon as we find out what the constitutional amendments are and we figure out what's on the ballot, we will be going around into the community and educating the voters on the Constitution, the effects of those amendments, as well as the different issues that are popping up.
What's it like for you to have opportunity to spend time with the national president?
I'm just thrilled. You were asking about being nervous when we picked her up at the airport. I told her, I'm nervous, and I don't get nervous. I'm nervous. She is a phenomenal national president.
Thank you.
Full of wisdom. It is such an honor to have her here in Little Fort Myers with us. So we're so excited.
Oh, we big now. You putting us on the map. Now, Beverly, back at the national headquarters,
Right.
Our Fort Myers alumni chapter, how are they viewed? Or is it viewed as like one of the preeminent chapters within the group doing their thing, doing what they're supposed to do?
Well, I can't speak for all the chapters. I got to be very, very careful. All of our chapters are excellent chapters.
Okay.
I will say this chapter has done an outstanding job. I have to say that. A chance to spend some time with them, to really talk about the things they're doing in the community, and I got a chance to really get a chance to do that closely in the past couple days. I'm very impressed, and I've told Bruno Kathy, that I'm very impressed with all this chapter is doing, and I look forward to seeing them do more, getting people to run for office, getting out there in front. But even when we went through the litany, and they gave me the SOARs that are involved in the women 2020 issue. The women that are sitting at the diversity inclusion table. The Deltas here are on every committee, involved in everything. They are on the school board, they are judges, they are involved in the mayor's terms. So I think it's really important. So I am very proud of this chapter. Absolutely.
You got a
Absolutely.
role model here.
I do. Big shoes to follow.
I'm going to give both of you an opportunity to give some closing comments to this interview. I know you got a
Sure.
flight to catch. Let's start off with you, Kathy. Get some closing comments about today. And is there anything you'd like to say? Take about 2 minutes.
I think that today was a very special moment, not only for Delta, but for the community. Sora Smith's message of bringing us together and making sure we have a seat at the table so that we can have power in our voice is very important. And I think we all heard that, so we are so appreciative of that message. And we will certainly keep our seats at the table and have power in our community.
Before I get to you, Madam President, one of the things I'm constantly hearing in the news now is how important it is for whoever is the presidential nominee to have a female on the ticket. It is just like it's gotta happen. Do you think that a lot of the movement that has been taking place over the last few years and how different groups have been so, females have been so vocal is a part of that whole process?
Oh, absolutely. I think the women's voice in this community and all of our communities is extremely important. We raise the children. The impact that women have in the school system at home is critical. And I think the opportunity for an equal voice in communities is most important. So as we move women forward and men forward, but I think critically speaking, because women have been a vital part, obviously, of who we are, and because we know the voice we have. We have 7 women. We have 7 women in Congress that are just Deltas. They are all active and involved in chairs on committees, leading the way in terms of doing things. So I don't think women should feel any differently that they don't have their voice. They have to feel comfortable to allow their voice to be heard, as anybody else does. So I think it's that equal access includes the women in our communities as well.
Okay, 2 minutes. Take us off.
Oh, wow. Thank you all, first of all, Lee, for having me on, and for the Soars here in Fort Myers to have me with us. I think if I had a message for anybody, it would be to make sure that you feel empowered, that you understand the strength that you have as individuals. As members of Delta and as members of our other Greek letter organizations, we have to support each other. We can't use the crabs in the barrel syndrome. I talk about that. It's not about who gets credit. It's about the fact that we speak up and speak out, and that we do have joy with each other, that we have power in our voice, and that we serve our communities well. Thanks for this opportunity, Lee.
I'm going to leave it at that. So as the saying goes on this particular show, for those who say it can't be done, they're usually interrupted by those like the fine women of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated who are doing it. We'll be right back as we come to you live from the Founders Day celebration.
All right.